Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It's Wednesday night. Let's take a look at some alts on this late night edition of What Could Go Wrong Wednesday. I've updated the Ichi screener, the weekly crypto cloud screener for alts. I'll put the link to this spreadsheet in the description of this video. But basically what we're trying to look for here is which alts have the highest potential moonshot payoff based on bullish edge-to-edge trades. We always prefer bullish TK crosses to accompany these. So I've sort of sorted the best 4 based on percent move bullish TK cross. The math gets kind of wonky. It's not perfect. The numbers are stripped from TradingView. So I would definitely double check any of these numbers, but it gives you a good strong list of things to look for. Anything without a weekly cloud I just threw at the bottom, but some of these, although they will not likely overperform Bitcoin in the near term, they won't be stronger than Bitcoin. Almost nothing is right now. But I think in the next 3 to 6 months, probably into Q4 of this year, if you are monitoring things on this list, there's a potential for some diamonds in the rough here, let's just say. We'll look at some of these charts. I've talked about a lot of these previously, Flow, Sandbox, there's some metaverse stuff. There's some older layer ones in here, Stellar, Dash, there's some newer stuff. There's some stuff I've never heard of. There's some stuff like Chia where you really have to be careful of the market cap. You have to be careful whether or not that moonshot target is realistic. I mean, Axie Infinity comes to mind. You have to double check a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of DeFi coins in here. If the US regulatory environment is hostile to DeFi, that means these targets on these edge-to-edge moves probably get pushed off to Q4 at the earliest, right? I wouldn't expect DeFi to do well if the SEC is going after Uniswap. So that's the flavor of the list. Now, if we start with dominance, this is really the whole shebang. Again, nothing looks as good as Bitcoin does here. And I'll do a quick rapid fire of everything that I think that matters. We'll go through every BTC pair on Kraken. I'll show you a way to do it super quickly. But dominance, which is just Bitcoin market cap relative to alts, looks incredibly bullish here. It looks like it's ready to break a multi-month resistance level, and it looks well on its way, potentially to 60%. The measured move of this recent consolidation is 57 to 58. The measured move of the multi-year consolidation is also 55 to 59. So I don't think it's unreasonable for dominance to just shoot higher, especially again, if we have higher rates for longer, if there's a hostile regulatory environment for altcoins. BTC has the clear path. BTC has ETFs. BTC has a narrative to do well as insurance in a rocky macro environment, right? Can I say the same for other altcoins? No, not really. So fundamentally, it makes sense. Logically, it makes sense. The technicals are in alignment with that. And this helps guide my own allocations. It just doesn't make sense to hold a majority of alt positions right now if Bitcoin is the less risky play and it's outperforming alts broadly. Not only that, but it's so strong, it's outperforming TLT, the long bond ETF. This is a new all-time low this week for this ratio pair. QQQ, the tech stocks, then Legacy, also near all-time lows for the ratio pair. Even NVIDIA is starting to roll over against Bitcoin. This has been a massive range over the past decade, but it's just getting harder and harder and harder, no matter where you try to look, Legacy, crypto, otherwise, to not be holding Bitcoin relative to this other stuff because it just looks so good and has continued to look so good. If we look at basically inverted dominance, which is the alt BTC index, this looks incredibly bearish. You're getting a bearish breakout after a consolidation, which has sort of reset all of the momentum from 2023 and has the potential for bearish continuation significantly lower. So much like, me screaming about the ETH BTC pair on the weekly, until this thing is above the 3-day cloud, what's the point of holding alts broadly, right? So yeah, I'm bearish. This video, I'll be bearish probably for the next couple months, just based on the data, based on the technicals. This is the 50-200 EMA, and you continue to have a death cross on this, sort of teased a bullish cross on this for months, honestly, on the daily, but As we sit here, not the case. And the money's sort of flowing in one direction. The ETF flows are favorable to BTC. The risk from alts flows into BTC or out into stablecoins. And it just makes sense. It makes sense that alts broadly are dwindling relative to BTC. If we want to look at those 6 like moonshot type clouds for some of these alts that I like, if I'm going to take the risk on underperformance in the near term, it has to be on stuff that looks like this, because otherwise there's kind of no point. We need massive reward to take any sort of risk at the moment, at least for me. So I need huge weekly clouds. I need to see some life with price in or near the weekly cloud. And the goal here isn't to be massively denominated in AXS, okay? It's just saying, look, if this does break out, which based on the cloud, based on the technicals, it may over the next 6 months, I want a piece of that, right? Between now and Q4, these will probably start to look better is my guess, but they're not going to look phenomenal. And they're certainly not going to outperform Bitcoin most likely. But these are all strong candidates for the type of stuff on the weekly Ichi screener. And something else you have to do is, again, like BTC, you have to look at this against Bitcoin, because what's the point? If you're investing and you're trading in this stuff and you're not outperforming BTC, why bother, right? So if it looks like this and it's bearish against the weekly cloud, against the 5200, this is a death cross on the 5200, right? Now you can say, well, death crosses and bull crosses, they've always been late. Here's a death cross. Here's a bull cross. Here's a death cross. This is the bottom. It's not going to go any lower. Okay, maybe, but I can't assume it's not going to go lower just by looking at this. So almost everything looks like junk against Bitcoin, but we'll look at it. Before we look at those charts, though, let me mention today's video sponsor, Kraken Pro. Kraken Pro is a complete overhaul of the Kraken trading experience with a one-stop shop for advanced and professional traders. Kraken Pro enables efficient trading execution across multiple markets with a UI that allows for unique optimization tailored to your trading style. You can check out Kraken Pro with a link in the description of this video. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures Inc., PVI, DBA, Kraken. So in Kraken Pro, once you log in, you can favorite a bunch of markets here with the star. On the mobile widget, the favorited markets will show up on the widget if you have that selected, which I find super useful. So, you can select Bitcoin, Sol, ETH, BTC, whatever, right? And every time you open your phone or whatever, it'll show up. So it's super convenient. But almost nothing looks as good as this does, in a sense that it is well above the TK lines. It's well above the cloud. It's trying to consolidate in a bullish fashion up here at all-time highs, okay? Very few alts right now are at all-time highs. So do I care if you, dear trader, are denominated in AXS? I do not care for that personally, but I can understand if you want to take that YOLO 420 gamble and go for it. In Kraken Pro, again, you can swap between favorites and the rest of the market. You can also set alerts for this stuff in Kraken Pro. If I want an alert, you just right-click the chart, set alert, and finish the other specifications here. Create the alert, it'll show up here, and then anytime that triggers, you'll see that in the history section. You'll also get a SMS ping, not SMS, but a notification on mobile, at least I do. So it's just been really hard for alts to do well when Bitcoin looks this well. And the easier trade is going to be rates down, Bitcoin sideways after screaming. We could see alts blow insane highs after Bitcoin hits 100K. But the easier trade is going to be a rotation from BTC into alts, or waiting for a positive regulatory regime, which is going to take a little longer. But if we want to just look at these alts real quick, on TradingView, we can go down the list, right? None of these look as good. Now they look okay. I talked about ETH earlier this week. It looks fine. It doesn't look bearish. It's above the cloud, bullish TK cross, great. Sol, same thing, sort of losing momentum. Not exactly longable here. You want a bullish cloud breakout. You want a bullish TK cross. Those are the best entries always. And then there's stuff like Link, which is below the daily cloud. So for an entry here, I would need to see price back above cloud first. So this is just a no-go immediately. AVAX also losing steam. And again, once you know the cloud 2061, 2030, you can just flip through all these once a day for literally 2 minutes and you're done, right? That's it. Doge looks okay. And if we want to bounce between daily and the weekly here, it's a little overextended. I would argue, but it doesn't look like it's about to roll over to me. It doesn't look particularly bearish here. It just feels like the move at this point has sort of happened on the daily. Matic below the cloud, that one's a no-go. LTC, same thing with Doge. I'm looking for things that haven't broken out yet, or things that have a bullish pattern or have some sort of bullish continuation. And it's just really hard to find that on alts right now. Dot, bearish TK cross, threatening to be below the cloud. Near holding up okay. Actually kind of looks similar to ETH in a sense that it's holding the range, right? So as a USD candidate, that's one of them. INJ below the daily cloud, daily bearish Kumo twist. So again, you want this stuff, right? October was a great entry. Now is not a great entry for a long. Rune, same thing. If anything, bearish double top there. In the moment does not look like an entry. GRT, bearish. ADA, head and shoulders there, bearish. ETC, okay. Very choppy. Kind of like Doge, where it's feels like some of the move has happened already, and maybe you get a better entry later on. Not really a clean trend on that. IMX, bearish, and for me, this whole list is just a random list of stuff. A lot of DeFi has this head and shoulders component, and if we flip to Uni with that news, it was very easy for this to break down because the technicals on this were already triple top head and shoulders, right? Technicals with bearish news down. Much like bullish technicals with bullish news brought this all the way up to 15 from 7 or whatever it was. We're seeing the exact opposite today. SNX chop nonsense, right? Aave looks okay in the weekly cloud. Nothing necessarily screaming at me anyway that this looks ready for imminent bullish continuation, right? Comp below the daily cloud. OP below the daily cloud. ARB below the daily cloud. Uni we talked about. Ripple below the daily cloud. So it's just really hard. We can keep going. Filecoin, just near-term chop. Algo, head and shoulders, near-term chop. Flow, near-term chop. I mean, there's just nothing. ENS, ranging. There's really nothing, back to BTC, that is like sitting at highs, looking like it's ready to go. If we flip to the Kraken stuff, in TradingView, what you can do to make a watch list like this, you can go to crypto, you can select the exchange you want. In this case, I have Kraken, and then I just typed in BTC, and that'll show me all the BTC pairs. And then you can just add whatever you want. But we can go through all of these, and we can look on this. Really, I want to see the weekly. Ocean continues to look okay. I purposely put this one at the top because it's one of the few that isn't as bearish as everything else. It is neutral. It tried to break out. Definitely worth adding to a watch list. Similar to Maker, it has the potential for a multi-year rounded bottom, inverted head and shoulders, whatever, right? Into Q4, everything broadly probably does better. Even BCH, which I would never touch, never trade, on technicals is at least trying to bottom. And it's almost through the weekly cloud. And that may happen later on in the year. Sol BTC looked very strong, continues to be strong, honestly, but it's pulled back quite a bit. And again, later in the year, we may see renewed strength in Sol BTC. But this has really struggled up here relative to BTC on the pair. Mina, I don't know what most of this stuff is, but it does not look good, and certainly not bullish, and not bearish enough to want to buy either. If we go all the way out, I would need to see extreme all-time lows to even think about wanting to buy some of this stuff. EWT, Nano, Flow, still in the range, looks okay, right? Again, if you're long some of this stuff like I am, on a very small percentage, I'm not expecting a miracle here. I'm not expecting metaverse coins to suddenly break out, okay? All I need them to do is just hold this range until Q4, and I will be satisfied. SRM, no. We can also look at, is there a bull div on any of this stuff? You could argue, yeah, it's Serum here. There's a bull div with successive lows, but am I going to realistically touch this thing? No. Aave, bearish. Anchor on the weekly, also bearish. On the daily, I think it's slightly bullish. not convincingly, but maybe that's something also to check is daily on these. Rari, still pretty bearish in the broad sense of it, the weekly trend. Dash flirting with all-time lows, I believe. And sure, there's a bull div here, I guarantee it, but I'm not touching that thing. ZRX, all over the place. No real trend there, just huge chop. ENJ, almost at all-time lows. GHST. This thing broke out quite a bit back to 2023 highs. Certainly feels like the move is done on this one, but this is what you're always hoping for on a bull div. You got a series of continuous lower lows into all-time lows. There was a bull div on this final low. And so if you're one of those traders who likes these type of setups, yeah, why not, right? Now you could always just say this was a bull div, and my stop loss is new all-time lows, right? It's a dangerous game to play, but the way alts tend to move, they're just sort of a light switch. They're on or off. They're not really in between most of the time relative to BTC. So you'll get something like this where it's years, this is Qtum, years of bearishness. There's been a bull div on this thing for 6 months, lower lows in price, higher lows in RSI. There may be a time between now and 3 months from now where this just breaks up, right? I don't know. But the trend isn't going to tell you that. It's just, that's the nature of alts generally. LPT, nothing there. Sand, another metaverse coin, slowly breaking down towards what's likely going to be all-time lows. Tron, BTC, very angry. This is one that had looked pretty good up until a few weeks ago. Definitely bearish now. Kava, BTC, all-time lows. Lisk, ranging. Chop, ICX, near all-time lows. NYM, near all-time lows, minus that wick there. EOS, much like Dash, these old layer ones that nobody uses anymore, will they have a week or two of mean reversion back to the Kijun is the question. They're certainly due for that. It's been over a year without any relief, but I really don't think that happens this quarter. I really don't. Monero, just straight down. Doesn't look great for Monero against BTC. Ripple BTC also just aggressively down, right? So there's just no reason to hold most of this stuff. Atom, very angry down here at this level. There's weeks and weeks and weeks of bearishness against Bitcoin. Matic, same thing, very angry against Bitcoin. I mean, anything DeFi adjacent, anything older that doesn't have any users just doesn't have a chance. Doesn't have a chance. This is stellar, just straight down. I mean, this is quite the impressive down move. Just consecutive weeks of absolute death. Ant, this is one that should probably be at the top of the list with Ocean and Maker. It looks okay, right? It's not mega turbo bullish, but it's not falling off the table. It's not Ripple, it's not Atom, it's not Matic, it's something different. Tezos, no, right? There's just no strength here on any of this stuff. Why bother? Zcash, years of consecutive weakness, continuous weakness here now at what looks to be all-time lows. KSM, angry down move over the past 6 weeks. Just nothing there. Waves, trying to hold the range. This is another one that, at least on the USD pair, had on the sheet pretty wide edge-to-edge potential. Certainly big edge-to-edge potential here. Maybe worth adding to the watch list. Seeing how it performs over the next 3 months. Maybe taking a trade at the highs here, but I would not touch anything that hasn't broken up yet. Melon BTC, the chart just speaks for itself. It's just been nothing but down along with most of these. Storage, also very angry. Cardano, just, weeks and weeks and weeks of very bearish, not just like mild chop down, just completely falling off the table here. Very angry. .BTC, same thing. There's going to be a period of time, if these do have a move higher, all of them broadly are probably going to move higher. A lot of these correlated, with the AVAX move, DOT moved, Cardano moved, and now in a bearish environment, everything is sort of correlating with itself. Doge BTC still far below the weekly cloud. And just because we're on everyone's favorite OG meme coin, this does best after Bitcoin's halving, and we're not there yet, right? PAXG, which is the gold stablecoin, even as bullish as gold has been over the past couple weeks, it's still just sort of catching its breath down here in the down move. Now you could argue on lower time frames that this is some sort of potential bottoming process, but it is certainly not outright bullish relative to Bitcoin, regardless of what Peter Schiff has to say. SIA, just completely devastated on that move, much like ZRX, just absolutely back down. Uni flirting with all-time lows, at least on Kraken, against BTC. LTC, BTC, certainly not bullish. Filecoin, much like Flow, all I can hope for here really is just maintaining this range. If this can, by some miracle, hold this range for 3 months, I'll take that as a win for my position that I like on the USD pair. But this certainly doesn't look happy right now, and neither does Algo for that matter. Algo also very, very bearish down here. Just not a lot of strength across the board. GRT turning down as well out of the weekly cloud. Very bearish look for that one. Maybe you set an alert for this level here, but there's really nothing to watch other than that in the near term. OMG lower, rep, it looks like a descending triangle lower, balancer BTC, failed inverted head and shoulders very long time ago at this point, but just straight down for over a year at this point. What is the RSI? Yeah, so the RSI is trying to have a bull div down here, but man, you're a hero if you take that trade and make money, because that does not look good. Comp also flirting with all-time lows. Link BTC looks okay in 3 to 6 months, right? Maybe this eventually morphs into, triple bottom over time. Here's your level to watch, and maybe we throw this one at the top, because if alts are bullish, Link is probably going to be a benefit of that. Mana, another metaverse play, just crushing lows here. Not really a bull div yet either. Keep ranging lows. Curve very, very angry against Bitcoin. I think that's all-time lows for Curve on any exchange. RSI trying to bull div here, but again, if the SEC is going after DeFi, anything DeFi, BTC is going to get very angry. ETC just kind of flat ranging. Certainly not bullish. Hasn't been bullish really ever against Bitcoin. BAT also very, very, very bearish for a long time now against BTC. What does this measure? Just if we call this head and shoulders, yeah, measures to less than 0, but kind of slim pickings out there. SNX is the last one. So there's really nothing to me in the moment that looks bullish against Bitcoin. And so I'm all about the easy path. The easy path right now is, if you're an altcoin trader, hold BTC, hold cash, whatever. Just don't hold alts, because they do not look good. Not investment advice. That's just my opinion, obviously. But dominance will likely continue to dominate for the foreseeable future. That's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.